Welcome again to the Tirconaill Tribune podcast. This is for the week of Thursday, the 10th of June, and our headline stories, of course, are again about issues here in the Northwest to support surges for the Micah campaigners, and we'll come back to that later on, but we have another deadline looming for the Sea Air Rescue Service contracts, which are they're overdue for being issued. The company that already had them for a number of years will probably be applying again, but the government and the Minister Simon Coveney clearly indicated their wish to have the Air Corps involved here, and this is a comment from Michael McClafferty, where we have heard concerns that members of the current staff serving in Sligo may not necessarily be maintained there, although the EU regulations specify that all current staff must be deployed within the service, but not specifically at a particular site. Now, fishermen who would have spoken to Michael would have said that they would like to be assured that all the current staff operating in Sligo are retained there, but there is no guarantee that that may well happen. So that is one of our stories in the front of the Tribune. But after that, we're moving on there to look. We've a couple of nice pictures in here. Today is the birthday, I'm told, of St. Columkill 1500th anniversary. And we have a picture from Fanad, Father Pat McGarvey with Katrina Sweeney, Claire Murray and Roshan Gibbons. They're at the launch of the brochure featuring the legacy of St. Columkill during his time in Clondevaddock. And the brochure was launched at St. Columkill's Well there on the roadside at Carabla, on the Wild Atlantic Way just beyond Port Salon. It sits in there to the left hand side on your way down, and it's a very popular stopping off point. And then we have the launch of Adrian Gallagher's book, The Wild Mountain Way. That happened last week at Glenveigh. Nice picture there of Noel Cunningham, spectacular looking as always. He's doing the launch. That's all on the front of the paper, but also inside we're going down to Woodquarter next.
Yeah, just a new kind of a new piece of news that there was Woodquarter in Cranford. It's actually a good follow on from the wee piece we had in the paper a couple of weeks ago when we did a wee story with Hugh Hunter, who's well known in the adventure worlds and all that. He's big into kayaking and all this type of thing. But Hugh has actually had planning permission in for a new adventure centre down there, and he has been successful in that. So that's been granted by the council. So it's permission for a new, effectively, tourism and activity centre. It's going to have reception, training, storage and sheriff facilities down at Woodquarter. Nice scenic part on the bay there. But it also allows for the provision of up to 6 campervan pitches and 6 shepherd huts and all the bits and pieces that go with it. So that'll be a big news for the area, because that whole area is sort of primed to be developed for tourism activities with, especially this time of year now, people getting into the sea and the nice weather and kayaking and that there. So
incidentally, we're still waiting to hear of a sale at the Mulford Bakery in Flour Mills, which has been on the market, and amid speculation that which the signs have gone from it at this point. We don't know why, but the actual location is now kind of closed off to the public there where we used to park in. We have got no information whatsoever as to whether a sale has been agreed or whether it has been sold, but as of yet, it's still, to all intents and purposes, it's there on the market, awaiting a new owner to develop it.
Access to the water and all.
So that would probably complement what's going on down there at Woodquarter.
Well, that'd be good. I mean, seen as a step in the right direction, because it's certainly primed to be used. Like Mulroy is the big benefit that where we are here, we have the wild Atlantic scenery or seaboard, but we also have inland waterways like that are less affected by the weather and the tides so much.
And also you have this nice drive as well. That's been well signposted there. The Mulroy Drive, which takes you right along there.
Yeah, so that's good news, I think.
And a lot of people are doing that route.
So good luck to him on that.
But our main feature inside this week, probably long overdue. It's a tribute to Mickey McHugh, Ramelton's King of Mirth and Laughter, pantomime star, and many, many other things, but mainly a community worker and a great family man. The most unassuming man you could probably ever meet. He's approaching his 80th birthday. Not that it looks a bit like that when you see the picture that Declan Kerr took. Declan Kerr has written the feature piece of this, and it just states that one of Ramelton's best known figures, Mickey McHugh, turns 80 on Monday, marking a memorable milestone in an amazing life. An entertainer extraordinaire, a star of 48 pantomimes, and a man who has never lost the love for a town where he has spent practically all his life. Swilly Rovers, the tidy towns, charity functions, comparing all sorts of special events, and that's all part and parcel of Mickey's life. I've had the pleasure of working with Mickey in lighting and sound on numerous occasions, and I write about it today. And the pantomime era is covered by Brian and Jean Winston, and that is very well merited. But my first time working with Mickey was probably in the early 70s. I'd been off, apart from working in the hospital at the time, I'd also done a lighting and sound courses as a technician with the Irish Drama Council. And for my sons, I was given the job of doing the sound and the lights for a top firm competition up at St Conal's Hospital in the ballroom. And Ramelton, of course, came in to join us and they blew everybody else away. We'd originally been doing top firms. There was that many firms about Letterkenny at the time, the motor trade, and all of the bacon factory and all of those places, there was 6 or 7 bakeries in the town. But that was great.
They all put somebody forward.
Yeah, all big crowds. You know, we had more people on the stage than we had a stage big enough to hold. But then we thought we should broaden the appeal of this out a little bit, probably increase the number of nights we were going to be running it for. We used to run it originally during the season of Lent, and it was a period when there was no dance or much going on at that point.
Everything a lot quieter.
Everything was in lockdown virtually. So
good idea that.
We broadened it out to a top town type show. We invited in various towns. I remember getting Newton Cunningham. Milford had a good show in it. The Fanner Youth Club, Convoy, and towns like that. But Ramelton arrived in as well.
They were the heavyweights. And
they were the real heavyweights because their panto had been running for about 10 years at this point. The panto had given them great experience, but they landed up. They were doing this feature. Michael rowed the boat ashore. It's an old Negro spiritual song, and it's an absolutely beautiful piece. It's way up there with the Battle Hymn of the Republic and all that. But on the night that they were performing this piece, this boat that they had was much too big to get on the stage, literally. And Mickey McHugh was out doing his linking act between the last act and the new one, and he had a couple of minutes to get through because this was timed for 60 seconds. 60 seconds it was, just a link. But they saw they couldn't get the boat on. They literally had to take half the side of the stage away to get it on. But out came this card just instructing Mickey, 2 minutes more, Mickey. And he kept talking as if nothing ever had happened. And after the 2 minutes from the lights went down and came back up again, magically the boat was sailing across the oceans. That is my first memory of working with Mickey. But Mickey has made a massive contribution to Ramelton. He is the comedian extraordinaire in every sense of the word over all those years. 48 years on the pantomime.
That's some going, isn't it?
He missed a couple of years and there was a couple of breaks then. Probably if things had been going according to plan, he would have been marking probably his 50th year this year. But
all the generations know him.
The generations all know him, and he's as traditional on the stage in Ramelton as the panto legend itself is. He has been a great servant, but across that he's part of the tidy towns. You see him out there with Tony Boyce doing a huge amount of work for themselves and Joe Burney, and he's a very shy, unassuming man. He's a
very nice man, a lovely man.
He never sought the spotlight, but the spotlight found him.
It's just a natural way of it.
He has just a natural way. He's a natural talent, and he has never once told a crude joke. I mean, you could have him as your main guest at a christening. Because he has had that flair and that natural talent. Mickey he's just one of a very special breed. He has that unquantifiable ability and character. He's a very ordinary man, but with this extraordinary appeal to make people laugh. So that's our main feature on the central pages this week.
Very worthy one indeed, that.
And from that we're going to a very different topic. It's down to the viaduct at Creasla.
That's a wee thing. I took a trip up to the up to the viaduct there, where the Tirconaill Community Association are been busying away quite quietly in the background. They're preparing a new place up near the viaduct in Drumnarraw.
Right, I know it.
So as you take that back road over to Glenveigh, as they call it, the Green Road, and over that direction, that'd be one of the best vantage points of seeing the viaduct. But there has never been anything to kind of mark the viaduct, particularly to mark the tragedy that occurred there in 1925.
That's right, yeah.
The big crash in January 1925, and the parts of the train came over the side as it entered onto the Tirconaill side of the viaduct, and tragically 4 people were killed. So this project is, as I say, it's the Tirconaill Community Association, but it's really been, I suppose, spearheaded in many ways by Ben McFadden, who is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to all this kind of stuff. And not only has he got the drive and the ambition to do it, Ben would have a lot of the skills to do the like of this as well, and certainly the work ethic. So him and the association and all involved have enlisted a lot of help. The DLDC are helping them in that. And what the plans are now is the work is going on nicely. They're clearing parts of the. There's a nice picture there you can see. It's actually funny to see men working on the viaduct bridge again. That's a long time since there was any men working up there. Since I suppose
So they've actually brought some of the stone from the bridge, have they?
So they've taken a stone up from the site of the crash, and that's going to form part of a new memorial for the people. And the reason Ben explained to me was that they want to have this in place when the viaduct the centenary of that crash will be in 4 years' time. So I suppose they're doing the right way about it, letting it be there for that day when that day comes. But what they want to do now is they're going to have this memorial. It's been carved as we speak. That's been done over in Donegal, I think. And then there's also another memorial plaque with a bit more detailed information. That's going to live up there as well, sit next to it. And you can come up, pull in your car. They were donated a piece of land very generously by the landowner there, enough to pull in a number of cars, or even a coach could pull in if it was clear, safely off the road, because it's a narrow wee road. And they can enjoy the view, they can learn a wee bit, they can learn more about the viaduct and the crash and all of that there. But he's getting great support there. Nice picture with the team from the DLDC Community Hands Group, who are on hand. They were in clearing away Goodo and making a nice job of it. And the plan would be now that when on July 7th they're going to host the official unveiling of that memorial, and it's timed with a walk that's going to be going across the viaduct. I presume from Letterkenny, but I know certainly going from the Creevin out to Burton Port, and the second day of that walk will see them coming along that area, so they will coincide with it.
It's very interesting.
It's
very interesting.
It's a good
Hard
job. Hard to believe that they're 100 years now.
100 years coming up
by, but it's one of those. That was one of the biggest civil engineering projects in the whole of the British Isles were at the time, under British rule. That was a major problem, trying to bridge that part, because without that there wasn't access to West Donegal. One of the most
actually, it's a huge span every year you drive down that road. I was up there a couple of times. We're walking, and it's when you're up there, it looks like it's very deceiving. It's actually much wider than it actually looks as you drive down the road.
And if you get down close to it at all and you see the scale of everything, it's quite remarkable. So that'll be the July 7th. At about 12:30, they're going to have the unveiling of that there. So that'll be a day. And so good luck to them with the work on that. So
that's lovely. That'll be interesting. We'll have to cover that. We'll come back to Port Salin. We have a story here about Dutch spotted ewes. And this is how might Dutch spotted sheep look in Port Salin? The answer obviously they look absolutely brilliant, set there in that picture against the stunning background of Nacala and Ballymastocker, and right underneath them there is Port Salin Beach, where during the week there are complaints that people have to walk for 2 miles to get a pee. But that will not worry the sheep too much. This is a brand new venture by Rachel Gallagher. And she has been interested in sheep ever since she was a wean. Not that she's that old at all. She's about 18 or thereabouts. Rachel had she had this view of these sheep, and that they're unusual, and they're black and white spotted.
Very stunning looking sheep, aren't they?
Very, very eye catching in the fields, and they're natives of Holland. And she took up the cultures to do something about that. So she put her money to the test and invested in the breeding. Now she has 10 ewes, 16 lambs and 1 ram. And just 2 weeks ago she paid over $5,000 to purchase a new ewe in the spring star sale in Beatty's in Oma, and she plans to put the new ewe to full use. Interestingly, she's going to get the ewe's eggs flushed out, and she's going to replant them in other ewes.
Right.
This will be completed by a Scottish firm, John McGee's farm in Creesland.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Fun.
But anyway, this is a young woman starting out on the farm, and lovely sheepdog, farm machinery, and the most beautiful scenery in Ireland.
They're stunning looking now.
They're stunning looking, and the family, the Gallagher, the family farms over 200 acres at Croros in Port Salon, overlooking Ballymastocker. And they also have a 50 cow suckler herd, 140 ewe purebred and 90 commercial flock on a part-time basis. And she's studying A-level Bachelor of Science in Agriculture at LYIT, and she says here, she scored, "I have always been very interested in farming since I was very young. I come from a family where farming has always been a very strong tradition, and the farm has been in our family for over 5 generations." Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Good on her.
That is some of our stuff this week, and on that we're just going to take a quick look at the editorial where our headline is saying Donegal farmers fear losing out in the new cap. Experienced sheep farmers, and this is our stand first, experienced sheep farmers point to the detrimental announcements for Donegal's hills. The new organic scheme requires a stocking rate of 3.3 ewes per hectare for the full payment. However, it's accepted according to this source that a ewe per hectare is all that's sustainable on wet and dry heath. The payment gets you enough to pay the planner. Almost half of all income declared by sheep farming households is now derived from non-farming activities. Long editorial in that there. I want to just go back to the lead story, the front page, wherever I left it.
There's one thing, John, I just want to jump on there before you go back to that. That it's funny you mentioned John McGee there and that related story about the sheep up in Fannet, but that's a wee piece in there. John's actually undertaken same John McGee is undertaking a charity event. His own father, Sean McGee, is very well known for farming circles.
Yeah.
And who sadly passed away last year from cancer. And his wee girl, Kiara, she has quite a rare neurological condition called Lamb-Schaffer syndrome. So this is what John is jumping in to do, and he's going to he's going to undertake a kind of an athletic challenge now on I think it's on July 7th, and I'll get the date of it there now, but it's he's going to do that there. His sister Sharon's going to do a sponsored head shave as well. But just to let people know that it's on, if you want to help, it's GoFundMe.com, the Sunshine Cycle Run and Shave, if anyone wants to help that there. So I just wanted to make a mention of that.
We're just going to finish up with our headline story. Support surges for Mica campaigners as Donegal's road for Mica 1000 as Donegal's road for 100% Mica redress heads for Dublin on Tuesday. Chris Duddy of Letterkenny. Chris is a well-known character on the stage, but he has spoken passionately in calling on those who have not registered their damaged property to join the front lines in this must-win battle. Mica is a real crisis that's destroyed so many homes and so many family futures, and we must unite in the battle to get justice, he says. Read all about it in the Tribune, read about it online, and listen to the podcast. And that's it for this evening, folks. See you soon.